Good evening, my Facebook friends. Baxter Cribs here with you once again from BaxterCribs.com, and welcome you to my Facebook page and my fan page. And I hope you have had a great day. I've had a very busy day myself, productive in my day job. Got to listen to a lot of things as I traveled today. That was very interesting. Tonight, though, I want to continue on talking about, as we've started out here, as you can see I have on the board, we started 3 nights ago, talking about defiance. And defiance is talked about, and this comes from, and I always want to give credit where credit is due, from Brandon Bouchard's book, The Motivation Manifesto. I had to look down at it to make sure I got the name right. And this book had, what brought about this little series that I've been doing is that one day I was listening to several different speakers, and all of them happened to be on the same thing of doubt right here. And so I went back, I remembered this one, and I liked the idea how he described these three things going together to make one unit. And so he started out that this creature that he talks about is a three-headed serpent in his book, and we get that idea from mythology, that you have a snake body coming up, then you have the three different snake heads, kind of like that. How about that? But anyway, and so he names off, he gives each one of these heads a name. And the idea that I associate that with in a real life thing is that where I work at my day job, I have a yard foreman out there, or I have a yard crew, and I have 3 people out there, and each of them has a specific job to do, but yet they act as one unit to get that done. And so this is the same idea that he has presented here, talking about defiance. And defiance being that something is defying you from being successful, from moving ahead and accomplishing great things in your life, or becoming whatever it is that you want to do, and not necessarily being as humongous, well-known guru or whatever. But success can be defined simply by where you want to go, what you see from yourself as a year from now. And these ideas here, this three-headed serpent, and the things we talk about are things that come about in our life that stop us or try to stop us from moving ahead, to allow what we can really do to share things in the world, to improve the world, to improve our environment. And they stop us if we allow that. And that's why I wanted to bring this to us and show us these ideas so that you can recognize them. Now, go back to the other videos in this page, if you will. It's down below to follow through. But we talked about, on the first night, of being doubt is one that comes into your mind, and you overcome that by faith. Then the next thing was, we talked about delay. Then the other way you come in is by action. And so, and then tonight, now we want to move down here and go into division. Like I say, go back and watch the videos to show you about these, rather than me spend the time here tonight making this video kind of long, because I can get long-winded really and don't even realize it. But go back and see those. But now tonight we want to talk about division, and as you can already see, I wrote it up here. Here's how you overcome division. But we've all heard this saying, if you will, that you've looked at. It says, divide and conquer. If you want to win something, if you want to win a game, if you're going against a team, if you divide that, a war even, if you will divide the people, then you can conquer. Because the idea is, because once you divide the people, that they become weaker, they become isolated. And you notice, you see this if you watch TV, and I know it's in real life as well, that whenever people are arrested and you have 2 or 3 of them that are grouped together, they divide them into different rooms and begin to question them and tell them things that this other person may or may not have been saying. But the idea is to divide them and make them weaker. Right here is what I want to do. So they can get down to the bottom and get what they need out of the people. And so we've also heard, and I use the scriptures a lot because that's part of my life as well, that even in the scriptures Jesus talked about, he says, a house divided will fall. And so this is the idea behind this serpent. And these are all things that are real when we allow them to be in our life. They are real because they're inside of our head, they're inside of our heart, and we need to stop them from growing, if you will. And I always use this same analogy, that if you dig up a piece of ground, and if you don't plant the seeds in there that are going to be good seeds, that's going to produce fruit, that's going to bring you food, then, and you don't hoe it and you don't take care of it, the bad weeds are going to grow up in there automatically, and it's going to cause you a lot of problems. And so this is what these are. These are weeds that grow automatically if you do not do the things that are on this side of the board and use faith to overcome it, use action to overcome it, and of course we're going to talk about tonight, use love to overcome these things. Now, division has been around forever, you know, if you will. If you go back in the scriptures again, another example of the story of David, who was, you know, a man after God's own heart, the second king over Israel whenever they moved into the promised land. And he had several sons, and one of them, Absalom, decided he ought to be king. So he set about to divide the people and got them on his side. So when he was ready to take over, he had already divided the kingdom, and the people came to his side, and David had to flee. That's the idea, divide and conquer. A house divided, his own house will fall. Eventually, Absalom was killed because of David following God and doing the things that God said to do, which means doing the right things, and that's what we're after, is doing the right things. And so, now, forgot where I wanted to say that. Oh, okay, and another place in the scriptures, in 1 Corinthians, the first chapter, you find about verse 10, the Apostle Paul talking to a church. These are God's people during the first century, that he was saying, I hear there is divisions among you. And I partly believe it, because I can see the proof of it, which is what we have over here, and the proof of the division. And so he set about in his letter to the Corinthian church to correct that issue. He also says further on over in chapter 13 that that love right here is what you need to beat everything. And if you don't have love, then whatever you do doesn't amount to anything. And so, what does division do? How do you recognize, or what does it do to you as an individual whenever you are trying to succeed in just say trying to get in your health, be healthy, or anything in your life, you could put it there, okay? But being healthy is the thing I've been focusing on, and exercising and eating right and trying to take care of yourself so you can live a long time, have energy to enjoy your family, your relationships, the people that are around you. And what you find many times is, or what division's job is to make you suffer alone, because it divides you from everything else. You ever catch that or see somebody, they just sit at their house by themselves, and you go, why don't you get out and meet people? Why don't you go and do this or do that? And the reason is because division has come into their life in some form, and it just kind of sometimes it slides right in there, just real slick, makes them cold-hearted, don't want to be around people, you know, and it's just, I just don't want to be around people, and so therefore they become distant. That's what it does. It makes you distant from the people. We are designed, my friends, to have relationships with other people. And so when you become distant, you are divided. Just as simple as that. We are put here on earth to have relationships, and a relationship, you know, is the important thing, and that's what it all boils down to, whether it doesn't matter what field you're in, what you're trying to accomplish. What makes things good is the relationships you have with the people that are involved in the business, in the area, in the lifestyle, in the sport, that makes it all great. Division also makes you hateful. You ever find that, how you're hateful to people? You're separating, and this is what you're doing. Now, these are some of the tools also, and we're going to cover a couple more down here in a minute. But being hateful to people separates them. And that's what division wants to do. It's trying to make you separated so you will stay down. You will not progress up and become this great person that you can be and influence the world for good. Division is there to make you hateful, to make you arrogant, which makes you think, well, I'm above everybody else. or they're below me, so I'm going to act this ugly to them so they won't infect my life with their self, with their low self-esteem, with their low whatever. You know, it gives you many reasons. It's full of choices for you, I assure you. And so we want to, and it divides our relationships between mothers and daughters, sons and fathers, you know, children of all sorts, and neighbors. This is the social ill, my friends, of why we have this division out here everywhere. Is because division comes in and brings these things into our life. We don't need that. If you're going down to the gym, you need to get to know somebody in there and or down to the track. Let them become a part of your life and you become part of theirs. Become a little bit vulnerable so they can see that you are like them and they are like you. Build relationships instead of having them to stop relationships. That will help you to accomplish your goal. Having people in the same field, being in the same family after the same thing. But you'll never know that if division's in your life and separates your relationships. How further can you know if you have division in your life and that you are acting with division towards people? Criticism. How many do you criticize people? Oh, you see that? Good grief. You know, and you just go on. I won't even give you any examples because, you know, there's enough of it that's out there that you can hear. If you turn on the news, and I have not turned on the news, I'm in a 30-day challenge with another person at the moment, and the very second day they said, here's what you do, go 24 hours without the news. My friends, I've not watched news in probably 4 years. It's just not something I do. My TV's not even turned on in my house. No cable here, only the internet, and I don't go looking for news on it. But you can turn it on and you can get criticism. Guarantee you, if you watch the Super Bowl, the next morning there's people in there criticizing how the people acted on the Super Bowl, even if they won it. And they've tried to bring division out there. Nitpicking. Do you ever see nitpicking is everywhere? And it's out there with those people who are full of division. And that's what they're doing. They just pick this apart. And most of the time it's to keep you by yourself. You're doing it so that they won't bother with you. And if you'll pay attention to it, you notice you don't bother them if they nitpick everything that you do. And you'll go, I can't stand to be around them. They just nitpick everything. Wrath is another thing that's done. And that is outburst of wrath. You know, you get angry very quickly when somebody starts to step in your area. When they move in and you're in this here mode of division, oh, we just get so mad. Get out of here. Go away. And we separate ourselves. And again, I don't want to give you any examples of that. You know them when you see them. You may even be using them, and I hope not, but you very well may be, to keep people away from you. And when you do that, you have no relationships. We grow old by ourselves. You have nothing to share with people. And we don't want that, my friends. If you plan to be 100 years old, plan to live it with somebody, because they, in fact, have proven that's one of the ways to get there, is to have great relationships. 2 or 3 or 4 people that are your best friends that you become vulnerable with and just open, and you share stuff and you allow them to share with you. And you accept what they are and who they are, and you share these things in your life so that you're not suffering alone, so that you're not distant out there. My friends, doubt will certainly stop us from doing a lot of things. Now, as we talked about, what is the way to overcome division? And that is, I've been describing it all along, and that is up here with love. Love, whereas to have faith, we have to work on that. To make actions, we have to make ourselves do that. Love, my friends, is everywhere. It's everywhere, from in the universe, from God. You watch out, you look at nature, and you can see, you know, the birds and the animals. They have a love for one another. And we talk about, you know, love is in the air. I think that comes from actually from the old the Love Boat song that's out there. It just popped into my head when I was saying that. But you know, it is. Love is everywhere. We just have to pull from it. It's in us. We want to love. We just become divided. We become afraid of that because we're afraid to be hurt. And when we're hurt enough, we start to divide ourselves into people, and we start to suffer alone. We start to be distant. We start to be hateful. Love, my friends, and we're talking about an agape love. There's several kinds of love out there, words that describes different types of love, okay? And because you have love for your children, you have love for your mate, and you have love for everybody else. And the agape love is the kind that you want that is for good for everybody, and you want that returned to you because you want people to bring good things to you. And when you have this love, you tear down this wall of division, and you allow things to grow, and it grows as it should. As I said in 1 Corinthians 13, the Apostle Paul talks about there that you can have all the faith in the world. You can have this and you can do that, and you can go do all these things by actions, but if you do not have love mixed in with those things, it profits you nothing. You gain nothing from it. And people feel that. You feel it. You know when people are telling you something and they're not sincere about it. You don't feel a love. And I'm using that in that way because love is a feeling. It is an emotion that we need to have in us, and to cry with people, to laugh with people, to enjoy people with. And we have that relationship that gets stronger and closer. And so when we have things that go wrong in our life, we have somebody to be there. That whenever we have people that we are trying to help to get more healthy, that we can share, and they feel that out of love, and they know that this person's not just out here after something for their own benefit. Because, my friends, we need relationships in our life, and we need to share those things and do what's best for other people. And when we have this love, we will kill the division in our life. And we can be able to begin to grow, to accomplish anything that you want to do. Because we have these three things in our life: our faith, our action, and love. And love covers all of that. It says in the scriptures again, it says love covers a multitude of sins. In other words, it looks out there and it does not say, oh, I got to have criticized what they done. I got to nitpick what they done. It says I'm overlooking that. And we're going to grow together, and we're going to move ahead. My friends, I hope this has been helpful for you this evening. I think we have one more to go, and we're going to talk about courage to overcome defiance as a whole thing. Because without courage also, you don't move ahead. But we'll talk about that another day. I hope you found value in this evening. I hope you leave a comment below and share this with people if you've found value in it. And my friends, have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow again. Thank you.